So, what really happens when you sit in a salon chair? We're going to explore that experience, and let me tell you, it goes way beyond just the physical service. We're talking about a fascinating, kind of unique psychological relationship that builds between a client and a professional.
Seriously, have you ever had this happen? You go in for, say, a facial or a haircut, right? But you walk out feeling lighter, like you were really heard and genuinely cared for. That's the feeling we're going to unpack today. It's this powerful, unspoken connection that can turn a simple appointment into something that feels, well, almost therapeutic. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look beyond the surface. Then, we'll talk about the foundation of trust. After that, we'll get into the whole unspoken dialogue thing. We'll also cover the two sides of professionalism, and finally, we'll see why this whole interaction is what you might call a privileged meeting.
Okay, let's dive right in. First up, why are we really in that chair? You know, the motivation is often so much deeper than we, or even the professional, might think at first glance.
Think of it like a two-sided coin. On one side, yeah, there's the obvious physical need. You're there for a service. But flip that coin over, and there's this really profound psychological reason. A lot of clients are actually looking for a space where they feel listened to, appreciated, emotionally understood. And sometimes, they might not even realize that's what they're after.
And this really gets to the heart of it, especially for anyone in the wellness world. The goal isn't just about giving a good haircut or a great facial. No, it's about improving the client's entire experience on an emotional, relational, and psychological level. Honestly, that's the real measure of success.
But, none of that deeper connection can even begin to happen without one absolutely crucial element: trust. And here's the thing, it's built up long before any of those deep conversations ever start.
So when we talk about trust here, it's not just about believing someone's good at their job. It goes deeper. It's about creating this whole atmosphere of safety. It's in the way the professional acts, the feeling of the room, their whole image. It's basically a nonverbal promise that says, hey, you're safe here.
And once that trust is there, well, this is what happens. That professional space, it totally transforms. The client starts to feel safe enough to open up, to share things. And suddenly, the esthetician or the stylist isn't just a service provider anymore. They start to become a confidant, almost like a friend.
Which actually leads us perfectly into our next point, the unspoken dialogue. Because in this kind of relationship, what isn't said can be even more important than what is.
The whole relationship is pretty much built on these nonverbal cues. It's the implicit messages, the small gestures, the expressions, that feeling that someone is really paying attention to you. That stuff communicates genuine care way more powerfully than words ever could.
And these are the tools of that unspoken language. We're talking about warm facial expressions, gentle gestures, an open posture, making good eye contact, offering a reassuring smile. Look, these aren't just little pleasantries. They are powerful, powerful signals that are basically telling the client, I'm here, I'm with you, I'm listening.
So, what does it take to be a true professional in this field? Well, it turns out it's about mastering two totally different but equally important sets of skills.
Think about it. On one hand, you've got your technical competence. That's knowing your craft, being great at what you do, right? But on the other hand, you have relational competence. And that's all about the ability to connect with someone, to really pay attention and make them feel seen and understood. And you just can't have one without the other. They're both essential.
I just love this quote because it perfectly captures what relational competence is all about. It's this idea that you're not just performing a service on some generic client. No, you're interacting with a unique individual, a new and incomparable world. And that means you have to adapt your approach every single time. It's never one size fits all.
All right, and that brings us to our final point, where we're going to tie all of this together. We're going to see what the true nature of this interaction really is. Because it's so much more than just an appointment. It's what the source calls a privileged meeting.
Okay, here's the fundamental truth that's under everything we've been talking about. Our bodily well-being is completely tied to our psychological well-being. It's a direct link. When we feel cared for physically, we just feel better psychologically. It's a simple concept, but it is incredibly powerful. And it's because of that powerful connection that this whole relationship becomes what the source calls a privileged meeting place. It's this really special space where trust and communication and professional care all come together to take care of, well, not just the hair or the skin, but the whole person. And just so you know, these insights we've been exploring, they're not just some random theory.
They come straight from the source material for a professional workshop. This is the stuff that's actually used to teach practitioners about why this psychological side of their work is so important.
So I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. Whether you're the client in the chair or the professional providing the service, what is that one small, non-technical thing, that little moment of connection, that unspoken gesture? What is it that takes a good service and makes it a truly great, memorable one for you?